Planet of the Fakes. And Pig Star HH News. LMPD explains decision to charge 80-plus protesters on AG's lawn with felonies. Louisville, KY. Nearly 90 people were arrested during a protest on the Kentucky Attorney General's lawn on Tuesday. Dozens of people, including some familiar names from out of state, marched to Daniel Cameron's home and sat down in front of it demanding action in the Breonna Taylor case, which his office is investigating. Every one of them who didn't leave when told to by police was arrested and received the same 3 charges: disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, and intimidating a participant in a legal process. The last one is a felony. This decision drew criticism as video showed the protest was peaceful, and few, if any, people resisted arrest. Many also compared it to a protest at the governor's mansion, in which armed protesters stood outside his window. No one was charged. WLKY reach out to LMPD for an explanation on the charges. LMPD commanders on the ground made the decision on charges based on what they heard and witnessed firsthand at the scene. The felony charge is based on protesters trespassing onto the Attorney General's property, refusing to leave and chanting that if they didn't get what they want, they would burn it down. That was deemed an attempt to intimidate, persuade, or influence the Attorney General's decision. Cameron said he had no part in the decision to arrest protesters or what to charge them with. Attorney Lanita Baker, who represents Breonna Taylor's family and protesters, said the trumped-up charges will not be tolerated. These protesters were peaceful. There was no threat to kill or injure Daniel Cameron. All they asked him to do is to do his job, Baker said. Dozens of the protesters who were arrested spent the night in jail. Baker said a judge ordered them to be released on their own recognizance but that Metro Corrections was slow to release them. Baker and several other lawyers stood outside Metro Corrections for hours Wednesday morning waiting for protesters to be released. "We want them to know they have the support, they have the representation," she said. Both locals and people from out of town were arrested during Tuesday's demonstration, including Kenny Stills, a wide receiver for the Houston Texans, and Yandi Smith, who stars on the reality show Love and Hip Hop. "I came here to be disobedient and to cause civil unrest. I know they told us to leave, but I said I'll leave when you arrest those officers," Smith said. "But, instead, I got arrested and I got a felony charge, but those officers were still in there processing me that murdered a young lady." Several of the protesters who were jailed overnight described the conditions inside as horrible. One woman, who did not want to give her name, said she was not given food or water for hours. "They had us packed 30 in a room. There wasn't any social distancing. There were women on the floor. There's black mold all over the walls," she said. "I'm just extremely disappointed with the way we were treated. We were treated less than human beings, like second-class citizens," said Nupal Kayazolu, an BLM organizer in New York. Steve Durham with Metro Corrections confirmed 30 people were in a dorm, but said that is not uncommon. He also said protesters received blankets, food, cups, juice and water. Kayazolu said she traveled to Louisville to demand justice for Breonna Taylor and is disgusted with Attorney General Daniel Cameron's actions. "We're out here fighting for his black life, too, even though he don't value the work that we're doing, so shame on him," Kayazolu said. Dr. Geronda Majors was released from Metro Corrections just before noon Wednesday. Majors, the principal at Knight Middle School in Jefferson County, said she was not Mirandized and did not know what she was being charged with until she was able to make her one phone call, and said she is protesting for her students and their families. "We did not get due process," she said. Majors explained she is protesting for her students and her community. "We talk about getting in trouble, but this is good trouble," Majors said. "We will not give up. We will continue, and even in my position, I will not be silenced." Many protesters said a night in jail will not deter them from continuing to protest and march. "Everything I did yesterday was for Breonna Taylor," one woman said. Like, follow, share, subscribe and comment, hit the bell. And, if you have time, thank you very